Hello, welcome. 3 signs that a Cancer likes you. Okay, number 1. At first, they might put up their shell and become a bit shy. This happens because Cancers are very sensitive and are very fearful of rejection and abandonment, and feeling, I think especially when with love, there's such deep feelings that to like somebody is scary. It entails a vulnerability and an unfamiliarity. Even if they've been in relationships before, this is a new person, this is a new world, these are new feelings, this is a new experience. What if this happens? What if that happens? They can even an extroverted Cancer become a bit reticent and a bit concerned that you might not feel the same way. Or what if they go about it the wrong way? I like this person, I don't want to mess it up. It can be a little bit difficult. So I think it's good to be mindful of that. If you like this person, that just because they might show up a little bit, especially in the beginning. I mean, in general, Cancers also need a lot of time to themselves to focus on their emotions. They need a lot of time also to be with their families. And this goes for friends too, that they consider their families. But I think that that's a really good sign as they become a bit shy. And again, even extroverted Cancers, they may not be super shy at first, but when they really start to care for you, they can be very self-protective and just kind of move one step at a time. In some ways, even more so, because it's like, I didn't realize I cared so much. That's one way a Cancer shows that they care, is by being very careful around you, very considerate, very cautious, very self-protective. Now it's good to not misread that, because sometimes a Cancer can also just put up that shell. I mean, it's hard to read anybody who has that kind of shell up. So I think it's also good to not assume that just because they are putting up that shell that they are into you. But that's a good first step of, again, they become a bit shy or a bit careful. Something that's really helpful is, and this is kind of 1.5, they look at you with big expressive eyes, almost out of surprise that you exist. Again, Cancer thrives on what's familiar, on who's familiar in their life, on who they're naturally comfortable around. And so when they meet somebody and they really like them, it's like, oh, that could be like the crown jewel. That could be the king or the queen to the castle that I've been building in my life, of my heart. That I could, wow. It's so much. Cancer has an amazing imagination, an amazing depth of feeling, that it can be almost overwhelming for them, of imagining all of the possibilities with this person that they like. So that's a great way to read a Cancer, is to just look in their eyes and try and understand. As long as they're present, they're not focused on the past, or they're not, again, shelled up too much, then you'll be able to look into their eyes and see if they really feel something for you. And it's good to keep in mind, if they are really shelled up, that goes away with time. If they like you, they'll continue to spend time with you. They'll continue to make a priority to see you. And might even surprise you of how they were shelled up for about 2 days or so, maybe 3 days, and then all of a sudden they're wanting to see you all the time for this weekend or something. That's good to keep in mind too, is Cancers are ruled by the moon, and the moon, out of all the astronomical bodies, is flying in relation to the Earth. It goes 13.5 degrees a day. It goes through a sign in about 2.5 days. The closest, fastest astronomical body is probably Mercury. It kind of depends on the season, of course, but Mercury or Venus. And Mercury can go 1, maybe 2 degrees a day. Maybe. That's if it's really fast. And in relation to the Earth. It's all about the orbits. And of course, there's Mercury retrograde 3 times a year, and that shakes things up. Venus too. Venus doesn't go retrograde all the time, but it's usually about 1 degree a day or something like that. The sun 1 degree a day. The moon 13.5 degrees a day. So you can get somebody with moon in Cancer and rising right on the cusp of Cancer. And also one quick thing. The moon never retrogrades, so it's just going forward, and it's a new moon. Okay, now 2 weeks later it's a full moon. Okay, 2 weeks later now it's a new moon, and of course every 2.5 days new energy. So that's really good to keep in mind too. Is just because they might be really quiet and to themselves this day because the moon is in Scorpio, the next day or maybe the day after that, or at the latest the day after that. Now it's moon in Sag, and now they want to see you, and now they want to party. Maybe they even want to go on a spur of the moment road trip to somewhere 3 hours away with you. That's something that's good to keep in mind too, is Cancers are on a roller coaster of emotion throughout their entire lives. And that's the gift. That's like that for all of us. All of our energies have particular characteristics to them, particular cycles and attributes, and they're all gifts and challenges. So keeping that in mind is, just because they're really shelled up now, long-term familiarity, if they really like you, that'll relax, that'll dissolve. But even then, on certain days, they'll really need to keep to themselves. But even short-term, things can change on a dime. So that's good to keep in mind too, especially if you're like confused, like what the hell is going on with this person? They're probably just as confused of, not necessarily about how they feel about you, but just like, how do I feel today? Just in general. Should I go on the date? Should I not? I don't, that's something that's really beautiful about a Cancer person, is when they commit 100% in a relationship, to an activity, whatever. I mean, they might be a little bit moody, so maybe there's not, that can be a little bit challenging, but they're doing it. So I think that's good to keep in mind, is, just riding the moon cycle. And I think that's something that's a kind of a life hack for you liking a Cancer, is keeping an eye on the moon and getting a good understanding of when to invite them out and when to kind of hang out and not, or like inviting them on a particular day during the week, if they feel like it, putting that in there would be really helpful to take some pressure off, because they hate canceling on people, but they also can't stand when the moon is in Capricorn and they want to stay focused on work and somebody's saying, hey, let's go play all day. It's like, it's tough. So a good way to keep track of the moon is alabe.com, alabe.com. And you press, actually on the homepage is a transit chart, an active transit chart for right now at any given time. And if you press it, then you can see the little legend and you can see the little moon symbol. It's kind of faint. I'm not trying to flip you off. It's trying to faint. I'm getting it lasered so I can actually get it done more beautifully later on. But it's this little crescent moon symbol. And if you just keep that in mind, you don't even have to press it. You can just look at the chart and just looking at and if you don't know the zodiac signs, then if you press that chart, then it'll give you a little legend and it'll tell you the different energies. And I think learning about those 12 different energies and where the moon is at any time can be really helpful, as well as learning about the full moon phases, the new moon phases. I know it seems like a lot, but it's really not that much. It's the same shit we experience every year, really. And for the lunar cycles, it's every month. It's just the same 12 energies over and over again, even though it's different with the full moons and whatnot. That can be really helpful to understand how to work with your Cancer. So number 2, they'll want to meet your family and get to know them, and they'll also want to get to know your past in general. Family is everything for a Cancer. They've to really know somebody, to really like them and be invested in being in a relationship with them, they have to know your family. It doesn't necessarily mean like they have to know them before they start dating you, but the more people that they know in your life that you love, who are family and also not just blood family, like good friends and whatnot, the more people that they know, the more comfortable they'll be, the more familiar, because they'll feel like they understand you to a greater degree. There's no lack of familiarity. Ultimately, a Cancer wants to bond completely with the person that they like. They want to feel like they really understand the other person, and they're reliable and they're loyal and they're stable, and there's not going to be too many surprises. It's certainly no major surprise that makes them feel like they it's not stable. Because again, the moon is going 13.5 degrees a day. There's enough instability in the life of a Cancer and their emotions to feel like, and not to mention the sensitivity and the care and the compassion and the love. And building long term, a Cancer doesn't like to waste time and energy, and especially doesn't want to feel the hurt of feeling like they got betrayed because you presented yourself in a particular way with them, and then it turns out you're this completely other way with this particular friend or family member or something like that. That can be really challenging for a Cancer, and that takes in a really an extreme situation for that kind of instability to kind of like rock their world. Like you'd have to really portray yourself differently and honestly just not really know yourself very well for that, something like that to happen. But long story short, a Cancer is going to feel way more confident in the relationship if they know your family, those that you surround yourself with, and they feel like it works with their family and their self, and it feels like it's all in harmony. Because a Cancer hates discord, hates chaos. It's just, nope, can't do it. Again, the moon, I got enough chaos in my life. I'm good. A Cancer doesn't need somebody else to find inner stability and serenity. Nobody does. But that is what they're seeking. So that's a great way to assure them, yes, this is who I am, and these are who I love, and you're a part of this, as the relationship progresses, not necessarily right away or anything, but you're a part of this, and I'm a part of your clan, and we're all good. It's all family, and in a weird way, and it's all love. And then this goes for the past as well. It's the same principle of, they know you. It's not like, wait, you did what in your past? Or you said what? Or you did what? It's feeling like it's a sure thing. Cancers aren't like Sagittarians, for example, where they're willing to risk and just see how things go. And if anything, those surprises can be really stimulating for a Sagittarius. Again, within reason. But for a Cancer, it's like, I want to know everything. It's always betting. It's always risk taking in a relationship, just like in so many other parts of life. But they want like a 99.9999999% gamble that this is going to pay off. And that's a great way to assure them of that. And number 3, they'll want to take care of you, especially by feeding you and inviting you to their home or taking their home to you, wherever you are, making home with you, wherever you are. That is such a sweet gift that Cancers offer. And that's a great sign that they like you. That's like the ultimate sign in so many ways. I mean, unless they're like just taking pity on you, but you'd have to be like starving or something for that to happen. So honestly, that kind of speaks for itself. They want to take care of you. They feel that the relationship is worth giving time and emotional energy and effort, and they feel, of course, by extension, you are the relationship with them. You get what I'm saying? They care about you, and they want to do everything in their power to make sure you're happy and taken care of, and they love nurturing you. And if you love that, then you're looking for the right relationship. As always, I'm doing readings. All the info to get in contact with me and what kind of readings and whatnot are in the About section. We can talk about whatever you like in any of the different kinds of readings. This is just different formats, so like a recorded video or talking on the phone or Skype or whatever. I've been doing readings for 7.5 years. I love it. And if you want to get a reading about love or yourself, your own energies or whatever, there you go. And I'm working on a book. I'm super excited. It's at 250,000 words right now. I'm editing it, so it's not quite finished at the making of this video. Maybe by the time you're watching this video, it'll be finished. But either way, the About section will have that. And if it's finished, then you can go ahead and buy it in the About section. It's about all of the different astrological natal chart placements, Sun and Mercury and Venus, and there's so much information. So you can get to know not only Sun in Cancer, but where their moon is, so important, their rising, their Mercury, their Venus. There's so much information to be able to understand other people and understand ourselves better, which is the best possible way to prepare and or maintain a relationship. So yeah, I really recommend you check that out. Infinite love to you, my friends. Namaste.